Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we'll be talking about Kevin Durant and the teams that were interested in trading for him ahead of the NBA trade deadline. According to my colleague at Hoops Hype, go check out the link in the description. Michael Scotto is reporting that Phoenix Suns star Kevin Durant drew significant trade interest from several teams ahead of the deadline, including Golden State Warriors, Miami Heat, Dallas Mavericks, Houston Rockets, Memphis Grizzlies, and Minnesota Timberwolves. While Durant decided to remain in Phoenix, he's expected to be in trade talks again this coming summer. He enters the final year of his deal worth $54.7 million. The Timberwolves aggressively pursued Durant. However, not only Anthony Edwards, but Jaden McDaniels were held out of trade talks, according to sources that told hoopshype.com. Instead, a trade built around guard Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle was discussed as part of the deal for Durant, sources say. Now, Minnesota has won 11 straight as Randle has played. He's owed $30.94 million in a player option for this upcoming season. Dante DiVincenzo is shooting 39.4% from three-point this range and is averaging a career high of almost 4 assists per game. It's worth noting that the reigning sixth man of the year, Naz Reid, drew interest from the Suns, according to sources from Hoops Hype, and he's expected to decline his upcoming player option of $15 million. Now, the Timberwolves are confident that they would be able to extend him long term. In the meantime, the playoffs have massive implications for the direction the Suns, Timberwolves, and other interested teams will have in Durant this offseason. So let's get into all the potential trade packages of what that could look like. I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think a trade for Durant should be, and why, if you're the team trading for him? So let's get right into it. I do want to real quickly say that we have heard that they would like 2 to 3 first-round picks and a starting level player and a young player in any trade that they do. So those are things to think of when putting together a package for a player like Kevin Durant, as we do not know what he would deem acceptable for his playstyle. So let's go ahead and just discuss real quickly what that could look like. Shout out Fanspo right here for the trade machine. We're going to first do the Timberwolves deal, but just because we know that's one that they had discussed, and then we'll go team by team into it. Won't take up too much of your time, but I think the idea of you would probably have Naz Reid maybe pick up the option and then re-sign to whatever the Suns would want or to give him. Now, in this deal, this is a $7 million difference, so you would have to find a third team, which the Wizards have been, I guess you could say, willing partners. And in this deal, imagine Vasilij Micic picks up his team option, is traded to the Wizards, and then the Wizards either buy him out or keep him. Is the easiest way to me for the Suns to get under the cap, and what the Wizards could then do. I really think Colby Jones is just not somebody that they're going to keep. I'm trying to think, would Saddiq Bey be somebody who's thrown in this deal coming off of a torn ACL? I think that's something that could. Let's have the Timberwolves just take him and Colby Jones. Now, the way that I would see this deal working out, as they do technically have Detroit's first this upcoming year, and then I guess they would give them the right to swap and give a second rounder to, I guess the second rounder would come from the Suns, as they have multiple this upcoming year. Oh, my apology, undo that. That's supposed to be a second rounder. Do they, not multiple, they don't have any second rounders, I believe, right? So that's going to be interesting how they would. We'll just have, like we said earlier, have the Timberwolves just do it. And in a deal like this, would this just be able to get the money done? What are the complications? Okay, we literally have to just do one minor adjustment for a deal like this to work. And that would be just taking off the recently traded restriction, because this would be in the offseason. And if that's the case, what we're saying, this would be in the offseason, and what has failed financially. Suns are unable to get since they're this would mean they cannot send out two players to acquire one with similar salary. Yeah, this is two separate trades though. They would be saving money, right? Because the deal would be, in this sense, Vasilija Micic. I'm confused on how this wouldn't be able, as in this case, let's just do it like that. Okay, so yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So there's a few things that, like, because this is not the offseason and we don't really know that his contract's getting picked up or not in this scenario. So those are kind of things, but that would be the framework of the deal. We got kind of hung up on minutia right there for no exact reason, but something along the lines there. Just ignore the whole fail. Money-wise works. Money-wise works. Money-wise works. In this deal, the idea would be Vasilija Micic and whatever draft compensation. And there would probably have to be more picks to the Suns, and you'd have to figure that out. But Julius Randle, Nasri, Dante DiVincenzo makes the money work. And then Micic would either be bought out or stay. And they'd give up Sadiq Bey and Colby Jones. And the Timberwolves don't lose a ton of depth. Now we had the Warriors. I think now that they have Jimmy Butler, it's not happening. I personally don't think that's going to happen. It makes no sense to me. And yeah, why would you do that? Why? It doesn't fit their MO. And yeah, I don't think there's a reason for us to put together a trades of that sort. For me, I think if we look at, I've been hearing the Heat as a legit option, and I think a deal for the Heat would be a lot simpler than some people are thinking. So I'm legit hearing that Andrew Wiggins might not be on the Heat after this season. Right there. And hypothetically, right? This deal is so close. It's $21,000 off. So you could hypothetically say, okay, we take off Rozier. And is it possible if it's just Duncan? Because they still have to move 5.4. Yeah, that's what I thought. Did you guys see how close that deal was with Rozier? Now, who's a third team that maybe would be a willing partner in terms of having a salary? Again, we go back to the Wizards. So in this scenario, you send Wizards there. And this could be the deal that I think is the one that would have to work. Yeah, the Wizards aren't allowed to do this deal because they took back more than 100% on Denny Avdia's salary in a trade, so they would have to cut $4.7 million. This effect actually wouldn't affect them because it'd be in the offseason. So, but if they wanted to actually have that rule appeased, the way that you would do it is the easiest I'd see. You go to the Suns and you just send them. There you go. And that would get the deal done. All right. The Suns walk. Well, you could really also throw the Heat if you wanted. In this case, just throw them Colby Jones. I believe they would be able to take, and then the deal still works. That one's not terrible in my opinion. Not a bad deal. Makes sense for everybody involved, especially with the unknown with Rozier. And yeah, over here, if you're the Mavericks and the Suns, KD, you'd have to assume PJ, Clay, Daniel, You're still short. And that's where, like, damn. And Najee Marshall's been a great fit for them. So if they were to do this, would have to be such a bigger deal. Because again, another deal where, I mean, could they just do it without, like, could they just straight up just do it these 3 players? Because then you can figure out draft pick compensation later. Yeah, you're over by, the deal works out. You're allowed to do this deal if you're the Suns, but you can't do this deal if you're the Mavs. So you would have to find a third team. And another third team that we could think of is the Raptors, just not to have the same one every time. But they don't really have any contracts. They kind of got rid of all of them already that you would have thought that would have been nice and tradable. So we'll go to the... Do the Blazers have anybody that you're just like, oh, could you just dump this guy? But they just don't have cap space like that. The person that I'm thinking, if you're Dallas, you're like, oh, would you mind sending me Duke Reith to be my new backup center and just take Caleb Martin off my hands? And that would make the money work. And you get yourself a backup center. You lose a lot, but hey, you got to win some and you lose some. Right here, the Rockets is the next one. The Rockets have the easiest way to do this. The thought process now, even though this year would have been the easiest because of all the expiring money that they had, that people would have just been like, oh, just package up all this like expiring contracts you have, and then you would have easily been contract over, you know? Now, this is where it becomes a bit more daunting. I know they have a bunch of cap space, so they don't have to like fill it the whole way. So Dylan Brooks would be the other one, and already you're sending $30 million. I don't think that's enough. Yeah, you'd still be short a decent chunk of change. And I don't even think adding Jabari Smith would be saving the day, even though you might have like money to do so. And also, I just want to make the settings. Can we have this be the off season or no? It is no way to show this is the off season. So recently traded is just the one that I want to take off. Yeah, this is where it becomes really hard because then you look at the contracts. I can't even think of, would this even get the money there? You would still be so short. You're allowed to do, okay, right here. So Jabari Smith and Aaron Holiday both have team options. So you'd be allowed to do this deal right here. 4.9. So as soon as I added, well, before we added what's his face, I think you can do this deal. Okay, no, so you would have to put in Mr. Aaron Holiday to get this deal done. So Jock Landale has no dead money. He can be waived. You have Aaron Holiday, Jabari Smith, and Dylan Brooks. This one I actually don't mind. So this deal is allowed. There you go. Yeah, you'd have to waive some players, but not bad. Obviously, picks would get involved later, but that would be the whole thought process behind it. And the last one is the Grizzlies. I wonder if the Grizzlies do a sign and trade of, can Santi Alama sign a new contract? Standard contract. We'll go, it has to be at least 3 years. I'd want to say would we go? And I just scaled it up. That doesn't seem too crazy. 82 million. I feel like that's a little under for him, right? How about 18, 20, 21, and 25? 86? Or do you think if we go 25 and then 32. Yeah, like 97 million. Here, you know what we'll do? We'll throw in 3 more right there, which will bring it to 100 million. You send him out on a $100 million deal, and he's signed and traded there. You have them send you Durant, so it's really 18.6 that they're, I guess it's technically 9, but who else would just be thrown in this deal? Brandon Clark definitely would have to be put in this deal. Would you think that John Conchar would definitely be put in this? Trying to see who else has a decent cap hit on them. Because at this point, would you even be able to do this deal? Yeah, you're still $13 million over. So you'd have to find one more player or a combination of players, which that becomes a whole can of worms that you're trying to solve. As Marvin Bagley and all these guys, like, if technically that, I just want to make it that they're off the books. So modify contract, waive, 0, like we're just creating cap space right here. Just by doing that, that should make the deal possible, right? The Suns are able to do that. Let me make sure the other deals where they're like technically like right here, because this is decline. So is he? Yeah, he's not even on the team right there. Who else would be somebody that we could money wise? And we'll throw in, by the way, we said throwing J Huff in there. Okay, we'd have to we'll add one more player, which in this, you would probably throw in Pippen just because that would help. You want to trade everyone that you wouldn't consider valuable. Yeah. So in the offseason, this definitely would have to be built around a sign and trade with Santi being the guy. Pippen, Huff, Conchar, and Brandon Clark all put together. Makes a ton of sense in my mind. And